It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play. Like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Monday, indeed. Rock Mornings with Brian and Shaw. No Jean today. She's out. So me and Shaw, boys club, fist bumps, explosions, extra bacon. We'll take it all, man. If you need something, rockmornings.com. Hit the website for all of our contact info. Listen to the show live online at rockmornings.com. You can also take a listen to our daily podcast. We've got the Monday morning throwback coming up later on. 3 ways, bad news, happy music, the friggin' sports, daily check-ins, National Potato Day, lots of other stuff to get to. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Back at it. Weather-wise this week should be pretty darn good. Looks like low 80s, maybe even upper 70s for most of the week. I'm still not turning the air conditioning off, but hey, a little more manageable outside, right? I think those 90-degree days are in the rearview mirror. We've got music from Des Rocks and Sublime on the way, and again, a 3-way with Scott Robert Shaw next.
More of your Rock Mornings coming up in just a bit.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Shaw. Gene out today. I was at the Brewer game yesterday, Shaw.
Saw a good win.
Nice little 2-0 win.
Good pitching by Colin Ray.
Series sweep of the Guardians.
Yeah.
Who are not a very
5
good,
in a row now for
not a very good team, but yeah, 5 in a row for the Crew. And I guess I didn't realize this, but they don't have air conditioning at Miller Park.
You just realized that now?
Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. I think we looked into this once.
Man, they got to fix that. I hope that's part of these $1 billion improvements that the governor, has signed with the deal with the devil here, because it sucked in there yesterday.
So the roof was closed?
The roof was closed. It was a nice day. It was only in like the mid to upper 70s. When we were outside in the parking lot before the game, we took a bus, with a bunch of listeners, and we went up there, and we're in the parking lot, and we're having beers.
It was beautiful outside.
It was beautiful. Walking into the park, even right up till game time. But, dude, we left. We were on the power alley deck above the Brewers bullpen, and we left to walk around and go down to the pro shop, which, by the way, I hope that's another thing they fix, because that pro shop sucks. There's, they have the little ancillary ones throughout the ballpark, the smaller ones.
Little pop-up merchandise
stores. But that big one, the main one on the first floor, that thing is so jam-packed full of people. And, they've got a line going in, a line coming out, and it's so much crap. They got to expand that thing. It was nuts. And the ballpark wasn't even full yesterday. I mean, I looked around, there was plenty of empty seats, but I was like, man, this sucks. I would not want to come here and try to buy merch, you know what I mean? And I get it. Everybody's trying to get their stuff before the game starts. They want to get into it, and do all that. But I was just like, man, this is misery. And, of course, then it was humid inside the ballpark.
Well, I'm guessing so with the roof closed.
Yeah, and the only reason it wasn't so bad where we were was because the power alley deck, like I said, is above the Brewers bullpen, and the back wall there is kind of open. So the breeze was coming in off of where the promenade is outside, and where the entry. So
they had the panels open then, probably.
Yeah, so the panels were open, so we were catching a decent breeze. But I walked up to, there was a group of people that obviously worked for the Brewers and had walkie talkies and stuff, and I said, I'm like, did the air conditioning die or something? I'm like, why is it so effing hot in here? And they're like, we don't have
air conditioning.
I'm like, what? I was like, bro, how can you have a building that's closed and not have AC in the summer?
Was there a threat of rain that they had to close the roof?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Normally they would keep the roof open unless there's some reason to close it. But.
Yeah, I have no idea. All I know is I hope air conditioning is included in these upgrades. Also, very funny, we had, so, we do boards when we're on, gambling boards or whatever, and sausage races, and then we have a 25 square board. And because the score was 2-0, the entire game basically from the second inning on,
it didn't change.
One guy won all of the money on the 25 square board. People were pissed, so mad, because you're reading it off. It's like $5 a square.
Yep.
It pays out 25 in the second, 25 in the fourth, 25 in the sixth, and then 50 for the final. So everybody's like, oh, I got a chance. And then I get back to the bus. I'm like, oh, that's right. It was 2-0 the entire game. So this one guy, and of course he, boo, boo. Right. Everybody was booing him. And I think his wife or the lady sitting next to him had won the jersey that we raffled off as well. So there was
shenanigans.
There was a lot of winning going on in those two seats, and the rest of the people on the bus were not very happy. But we had a good time, other than the heat inside Miller Park. And again, I guess I didn't realize they didn't have air conditioning in there. Oof.
Well, now you know.
The only place where it was really comfortable was by the craft beer oasis.
Oh, that's not a bad place to be comfortable.
Because they got those huge fans, And so there was a nice little breeze and a little draft over there. And I don't know, you said you haven't been to a game yet this year?
I have not been this year, no.
So there's like a Market Street Annex thing or something that's over kind of by where the craft beer is.
Okay.
And they've got all these like kind of unique food places now where like they've got like a taco place, like a Mexican street tacos, and then they got like an Asian fusion thing over there. It's pretty cool. I don't know I think it was like the Market Street Annex is what they called it. We didn't grab any food from there because we had free food on our deck, but it looked really good. So if you do get to a game, Shaw, check that out. It's kind of right next to the Craft Beer Oasis out there. And they do have one Oktoberfest on tap right now. One. So
that's good reason to go right there.
Took full advantage of that. So anyways, but it was all in all, it was a good trip. We didn't have any problems on the bus, which is always the key.
Yep.
Everybody was there and on time, and yeah, it was good times. But you were in Madison, you said, all weekend?
Yeah, we spent time with two of our kids, Adam and Hannah, and had a great time.
Nice.
Yeah, they went over to Adam's and his wife's house for dinner. He made us homemade pizzas on his outdoor pizza oven and made his own dough and everything else. It was great.
Very nice.
Went to a piano bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a dueling pianos? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
That was fun. Stayed up way past my bedtime.
Look at you.
I know. That's what Hannah said.
Very nice. Well, we're back to reality here with work and a Monday morning. What's going on in the real world?
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the time is now to conclude a Gaza ceasefire agreement that would return hostages held by Hamas back to Israel and bring relief to Palestinian civilians. He spoke today as he began his 9th urgent mission to the Middle East since the conflict began. Blinken said it is now the best, maybe the last opportunity to conclude a deal that would end the fighting. Mediators are to meet again this week in Cairo to try to cement a ceasefire. A refreshed Democratic Party reintroduces itself to a divided nation this week with a convention that opens today. The party's been transformed by the money, momentum, relief, and even joy that followed Vice President Kamala Harris's rise to the top of the ticket. Above all, the 4-day gathering in Chicago is designed to celebrate and strengthen Harris as President Joe Biden's replacement. Biden will give the keynote address at the convention tonight.
Sure, that's a good idea.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, the guy struggled the last 2 times he was in front of a microphone and a camera, and he conceded essentially, like, look, I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to make it here, so we'll put Kamala up. And now we want to have this guy lead the charge at the DNC. Is that really what we should be?
I think there's a risk involved in that, certainly, although less of a risk given that he is not the candidate, but nonetheless.
Right, but he could go out there and just,
start babbling or
I mean, obviously it could make her look better by contrast, you know what I mean?
True.
Like we're like, well,
boy,
hey.
we made the right choice here, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
La Crosse area Democrats are hoping to get more citizens involved in the election campaigns this year during a unity tour of western Wisconsin last week.
Unity.
Local Democratic candidates noted that voting in last week's primaries around La Crosse County was up by about a third from the turnout in August 2 years ago. Holman Assemblyman Steve Doyle says he recently met one woman who's been inspired to volunteer.
And she said, I'm 84 years old. I've never gotten involved in politics before, but last week I went to the Democratic headquarters and volunteered. 84 years old. That is the kind of enthusiasm that we are seeing today that we have not seen since the Obama years.
Kamala Harris will take a break from the DNC convention and plans a stop in Milwaukee tomorrow. The renovation of the Hillview Nursing Home in La Crosse is moving another step forward. The La Crosse County Board has voted to accept construction bids for transforming that healthcare center into a facility for many uses. The plans for Hillview include a residential treatment center, a mental health unit, and 10 housing units. The county plans to keep the project cost under under $19.6 million. Money for the project would come from the American Rescue Plan funding, plus another $8 million that was borrowed from the county's general funds. The overall renovation plan for Hillview was approved by the county almost a year ago.
We got a text from Corbin who wanted to know if you shared a slice of pizza with your wife.
I did not, actually. We each had a number of pieces of pizza.
What was on this pizza that you speak of?
Let's see. Well, one of them was a straight-up pepperoni.
Okay.
Another one had, we went to the farmer's market on Saturday morning, and Mary bought some mushrooms, and so put some of those on a pizza with some kind of spicy salami type of thing.
Okay.
Capicola, maybe. I'm not sure what it was. But, yeah, it was really delicious. He did a nice job, and they cook in 90 seconds in this little wood-fired, or not wood-fired, but this little pizza oven that he has outside.
Hell yeah. That's the best part. It gets so hot in there that it doesn't take very long, and, of course, you press the dough out nice and thin.
So good. Had some good meals, went out to eat a couple times, breakfast and dinner, and it was a nice time in Madison.
I had to control myself yesterday. The food they put out is not great, but it's not terrible for the buffet that we were, on the power alley deck.
Special seating area at the ballpark?
Yeah, the food is okay. It's...
What, you got burgers and dogs?
Yeah, so there's burgers, there's dogs, there's brats. The nice thing with the burgers is that it's a buffet, so you build your own. So they provide the cheeses and the toppings, lettuce and tomato and all that stuff, so you can kind of put it all together for yourself. They have some, fried chicken tender type things, and then there's like a pasta salad and a fruit salad and some other stuff. Anyways, but they have a mac and cheese, and oh my God, dude.
Really?
I had to control myself.
Seriously? I know you have a weakness there, but...
It was so gooey and cheesy and noodly and oh my God. I said to my wife, I said, don't let me go back, because I don't know if I could stop myself. It was so good. Oh, so I'm thinking about it right now, Sean. I wish I had brought an empty container.
Now you wish you would have had that extra help.
I wish I had brought an empty container to bring some home with me. It was so good. Oh. And there was nothing really special about it in terms of the way they presented it or any sort of
it was just delicious mac and cheese.
Really good. And even though it was hot and humid, I was like, man, I want to hammer some more of this mac and cheese, but I didn't. I controlled myself.
Congrats.
So thank you. More from Shaw coming up in just a bit. Right now, Des rocks. I Am the Lightning.
Rock mornings. On air, online, on the app.
Jackal with Dirty Little Minds. Lots of people checking them out at the Big River Rally over the weekend down at the Southside Oktoberfest grounds. Riding through the area. Lots of motorcycles in town. Get to some Daughtry in just a bit. As I mentioned, I was at the Brewer game yesterday, where they completed the series sweep of the Guardians. Got a 5-3 win on Friday, 2-1 on Saturday, 2-0 yesterday. Brew Crew 5 in a row now. Off today, then they start a 3-game series against the Cardinals in St. Louis tomorrow night. Bears over the Bengals on Saturday, 27-3. Lions beat Kansas City 24-23, but nobody really gives a rat's ass because apparently Patrick Mahomes threw a pass behind his back, Travis Kelce, and that was the only thing anybody on SportsCenter wanted to talk about. Vikings over the Browns on Saturday, 27-12, and the Packers. I don't know what the hell happened last night, but glad I didn't turn that on. Packers got beat by the Broncos, 27-2. The Bears will wrap up their preseason in Kansas City on Thursday night at 7:20 on the NFL Network. Lions will host Pittsburgh on Saturday at noon. That game also on the NFL Network. Packers will host the Ravens on Saturday at noon. Vikings finish up their preseason on Saturday at noon in Philly. Caitlin Clark, record-breaking 2024, continues to add stuff to the trophy case. Yesterday, in the Indiana Fever's 92-75 win over the Seattle Storm, she broke the WNBA single-season rookie mark for assists. She has led the WNBA in assists at 8.3 per game, had 9 of them yesterday to reach 232, passing the previous record of 224 set back in 1998. So congratulations to Caitlin Clark. NASCAR suspending the race yesterday. The Firekeepers 400 ran out of time, essentially, to run the race that was delayed and interrupted by rain. Lap 51 of the 200-lap Cup race, cars went on the pit and waited to see if the rain would go away in time to get at least half of the race completed to make it official and avoid having to spill over an extra day. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So it looks like it's set to resume today at 10 a.m. NASCAR racing. Speaking of NASCAR racing, Bowman Gray Stadium will host a NASCAR race for the first time in more than a half a century, opening next season with an exhibition race on a site that obviously has a very rich history involving auto racing. NASCAR announced yesterday that Winston-Salem, North Carolina will be the home of the Clash on February 2nd, bringing the sport back to the short track for the first time since 1971. That's cool. Probably get more info on that from Doc on Friday when we talk racing. Get to that Daughtry in a few minutes. Find us online at rockmornings.com if you want to get in touch with us, or if you want to listen to the show on the website. Check out our daily podcast as well.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, friends. Do you know what today is?
Spudtacular Day. It's National Potato Day.
Potato.
How many different ways?
What do you prepare it?
Mashed potatoes.
Potato salad.
Potato salad.
You say potato?
You say potato, I say potato. We're a nation that truly loves our potatoes.
1 potato, 2 potatoes.
Today is National Potato Day.
It's showtime.
National Potato Day.
Mm-hmm. Very
Fries,
versatile.
mashed, potato salad.
Sure.
Chips, hash browns, tots, funeral potatoes, vodka.
True.
You can power a clock with a potato,
Yeah.
which still boggles my mind. I had one of those as a kid. Did you ever have one of those?
No.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was a big thing. Like, you'd get the potato clock. It was at what was that place at the mall that had like the massage chairs and the what the hell was it called? It began with a B.
Don't know.
They had all the techie stuff. I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so you would get it was like black plastic, and it had 2 cup holders, and then in the middle was the clock, and you would stick the potatoes in the cup holders, and you stick these like
prongs or something.
Prongs in them, yeah, and then the clock would. It didn't.
Potato powered clock.
Never seen one?
I have not.
Oh yeah, I had one. Of course, the potatoes go bad.
I was going to say
eventually.
they can't last long.
No, but today
But it worked.
Today is National Potato Day, and French fries are apparently our favorite way to eat them. The top ways Americans like to eat their potatoes is fries, then mashed, then baked, and then hash browns.
Okay, all good choices.
Tots and potato salad tied for 5th, but potato salad's popularity is waning. Only 25% of Gen Zers picked it compared to 60% of boomers.
I love a good potato salad.
Oh, man, you can't go wrong with a potato salad, man. That's my jam. You got mayonnaise and potatoes in there? Oh, not to mention eggs occasionally and some mustard. I like all that. 29, here are some more interesting French fry stats for National Potato Day. Fries, by the way, number 1 when it comes to the ways that we like our potatoes prepared. 29% of us order fast food fries weekly. 62% said at least once a month. 16% of people said they rarely or never eat French fries.
Period? No French fries?
Yeah, 16% of people said they rarely or never order fries. McDonald's, still our favorite with 46% of the vote. Wendy's, a distant second at 16%. Then Chick-fil-A and Burger King at 13%. McDonald's got a stranglehold on that.
Oh, yeah.
Numero uno French fry. Our favorite French fry cuts. Regular, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Curly fries, number 2. Thick cut fries at number 3. Waffle fries at number 4. Then crinkle cuts
yeah.
at 5th. Does steak fries count as is that like a cut? I mean,
yeah, it's almost like a wedge.
It's a thick cut. I'm not talking like a wedge. I'm talking more like a Brewer City fry, where it's like
a little meatier.
Well, it's thin, but it's wider. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then usually it's got part of the peel on either end, and then you've got some kind of garlicky salt on it. I like those. Ketchup's still the most popular dipping sauce. People in his survey were allowed to pick more than one. 74% of people say they use ketchup. Ranch is next at 29%. Then cheese sauce, barbecue sauce, and mayonnaise, rounding out the list of dipping sauces for French fries. National Potato Day, Sean. Enjoy some
Celebrate.
Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Shove them up my arse. No? Just Samwise?
Yeah.
All right. What's going on in the real world?
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is set to meet with Israel's prime minister today as mediators say they're closing in on a deal to halt the war in Gaza and free hostages captured by Hamas. These negotiations have dragged on for months with several moments of false hope. They gained urgency when Iran and Lebanon's Hezbollah vowed to avenge the targeted killing of two top militants attributed to Israel, raising fears of a far wider and more devastating war. U.S. officials have expressed cautious optimism after last week's talks in Qatar. Hamas and Israel have been less optimistic. Crowds of activists are expected to gather in Chicago for protests outside the Democratic National Convention starting today. They're hoping to call attention to such issues as economic injustice, reproductive rights, and the war in Gaza. While Vice President Kamala Harris has galvanized the party, she gears up to accept the Democratic nomination. Activists say their plans to demonstrate have not changed. Democratic voters in western Wisconsin made their choice for Congress in a primary last Tuesday. Since then, the three primary candidates have taken a message of unity to 3rd District residents, including a rally held Friday in La Crosse. The top two finishers in the House primary were both women, but nominee Rebecca Cook says gender did not seem to be a big issue.
Gender was not really brought up in my last campaign, but, I think it would be really historical to have the first woman represent the 3rd Congressional District, and I would love to be that person.
Cook spoke along with opponents Katrina Shanklin and Eric Wilson. Shanklin said voters in the 3rd can make transformational change this fall, and Wilson said Democrats want to represent everyone.
We've had a lot of differences come up, but really what it means to be a Democrat is to represent everyone. And so we need to remind ourselves that our differences are not what are defining us.
Referring to Republican incumbent Congressman Derek Van Orden, Wilson said he hopes area Democrats will show up to take Derek down. Governor Tony Evers' transportation secretary plans to resign next month to take a job at UW-Madison. The governor's office announced that Craig Thompson will leave his post on September 11th to take a position as vice chancellor for university relations at the state's flagship university. Deputy Transportation Secretary Christina Boardman will succeed Thompson, becoming the first woman to serve as transportation secretary. Evers' office said Thompson has worked to make improvements to more than 7,400 miles of road and more than 1,700 bridges during his tenure. The DOT accomplished those improvements without an increase in the state's gas tax, one of the major funding sources for road work. That tax has not gone up since 2006.
Brookstone was the name of the store.
Brookstone, okay.
Remember Brookstone?
I'm not familiar.
All right. Yeah, it was in
Maybe
Mall.
the East Coast thing?
Well, I don't know if I didn't live out here until I was in my late 20s, so I don't know if it was only an East Coast thing, but we had them in the Pheasant Lane Mall where I grew up, the Brookstone, and it was like a techie store, and they had massage chairs.
Okay.
And it was one of those stores where you go in at Christmas and you could always find something for somebody because they had all kinds of kitschy, unique things.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you to T-Stet who texted in Brookstone. Sarah suggested Sharper Image.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
Another one of those kind of stores. But no, the one I was thinking about was Brookstone, so thank you very much. Also, we got a text from someone wondering if you surpassed your 2-drink maximum or minimum. Is a maximum? Yeah, your 2-drink, because I was...
Right.
Yeah. You said you only have the 2 drinks and that's enough for you.
When I'm driving, yes. That's typically the barometer. But, I think I had 1 drink at the piano bar, but we had stopped at a couple places before that, so yeah.
All right. And then Ogre said something very disgusting. Ogre, you gotta get a grip on your life, bro. Said, I could just see if you went back, Brian, you standing in line, just shoveling it into your mouth hole with the serving spoon. LOL.
Talking about that mac and cheese you had the other day.
Now, if nobody else was around, maybe. But no, I'm going to put it on a plate and use a fork like a human being. If I was at home, though, Shaw, whole different story.
Be tempting, yeah.
Whole different story. And the fact that Ogre thinks about how I eat on a Monday morning at 6:30, it's like, bro, don't you have something better to do with your time? It's creepy. Scorpions now rocking you like a hurricane.
Rock mornings. Only on 95.7 The Rock.
Scorpions rock you like a hurricane. Rock mornings with Brian and Jean. She's out today, so me and Shaw holding down the fort with you. Thanks for joining us. Except for you, Ogre. Having daydreams about me eating mac and cheese. That's just strange. Very strange. Find us online, rockmornings.com, to get in touch with us. All our contact info there. You can also listen to the show live and check out our daily podcast as well. Crazy, man. Everybody going everywhere all the time. This past weekend, it seemed like everything was happening. Yeah, Metallica's up in the city, Five Finger Death Punch and Pantera, and had Creed and Three Doors Down. Where were they? Treasure Island, I think. Jackal and Buckcherry in La Crosse. Brewer games all over the place. It's just nuts, man. Busy. Trying to squeeze it all in before summer comes to an end. Yeah. I gotta mow my lawn. Ugh. Thankfully, it won't be 9,000 degrees outside. And I gotta figure out a time to get back to New England and pick up that riding lawnmower. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do about that. Dan, the bus driver, man. I love him to death. He was like, hey, I got to go out to Maine in a few weeks. Maybe we can pick it up and stick it underneath the bus. I was like, I don't know if the riding lawnmower is going to fit under the bus. He's like, I don't know, man. We've had pallets of stuff under there before. I was like, well, maybe we'll do some measurements. Save me the trip. Pearl Jam in just a couple minutes. Stick around.
Rock mornings. Monday to Friday, 6 to 9.
Pearl Jam Even Flow on Rock Mornings with Brian and Jean. A stray Labrador tried to get on a doggy daycare bus in Georgia a couple of weeks ago. And unfortunately, they did not let the dog on. I think you have to be on a route and they have to know who you are and all that stuff. Can't just let any old dog on the bus. But the dog was upset that he couldn't get on the bus, so he started chasing after the bus when it took off. Turned out the previous owners didn't want the dog anymore. So another couple ended up adopting him. They're now calling him Waylon. And he finally just got his wish. Now gets to ride the bus to daycare with a bunch of new friends. And there's video and photos and all that stuff of Waylon, the Labrador Retriever, who was seen in Georgia a couple of weeks ago chasing after the doggy daycare bus. Ended up getting adopted by a new family, taking better care of him, and putting him on that bus so he can go and have fun with a bunch of his friends. If you haven't seen the video of him chasing after the doggy, you can tell he really wanted to get on that bus. Really wanted to get on that bus. Good boy. Another video that Wild this morning watched it before the show. This is down in Orange County, Florida. A woman ended up driving into a lake. Not quite sure the circumstances as to how she ended up driving into the lake. It was about 6 in the morning. Not sure if she had a medical emergency or lost control of the vehicle or there was some kind of malfunction. Not quite sure about that, but do know the truck ended up in a lake and was fully submerged. And a bunch of deputies there in Orange County, Florida had to dive right into the lake and go down, swim under the water, down to where the truck had come to rest and break the windows and pull this woman to safety. They were able to get her out of there in time.
There is somebody moving inside the vehicle.
She can't fit through the window.
Vehicle station completed now.
Go get it, go get it, go get it, go get it. We retrieved the female out of the truck.
Yeah, apparently there was just a passerby, just an average ordinary citizen standing there trying to help. And a bunch of deputies showed up and realized what was going on. They ended up jumping in, and a bunch of body cam footage of that down in Orange County, Florida. Heroic stuff. More from Shaw in a bit. Sleep Theory on the way as well. If you need something, get in touch with us. Visit rockmornings.com for all our contact info.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Rock Mornings, Brian and Shaw. No Gene today, just me and you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And the DNC.
Starting today.
First day of the DNC on ABC, CBS, and NBC. Is it really 9 o'clock?
PM?
Yeah.
I believe that's the prime time portion.
Don't these people have day jobs?
Right.
Who the hell's got to stay up at 9 and listen to some speeches? Oh. Today's speakers will include the President, Joe Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Sounds rapturous.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Can't miss, huh?
I'm going to stay up for this one. If you want something a little less mind-numbing, The Bachelorette will be on ABC. And Jen will travel to the hometowns of her 4 remaining men, Shaw. So that may be a little more intriguing
than the DNC.
And a little more interesting, a little more riveting, a little more watchable than Hillary and Jill and Joe up there. Are they going to play tic-tac-toe or something? They playing bridge or canasta? What are they doing up there?
Shuffleboard.
Name That Tune over on Fox, followed by the 1% Club. Also, the streaming premiere of Homicide, Life on the Street on Peacock today. Late night shows. Fallon's got Michael Keaton, a.k.a. Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Rhapsody featuring Erykah Badu will be on with Fallon. Maya Rudolph will be on Kimmel's show, which is guest hosted by RuPaul this week. Does Kimmel, what's the deal with this guy?
I don't know. I'm never awake that time of night.
But it feels like he hasn't hosted his own show in months. Is he just off for the summer to like hang out with his kids or something?
I got me.
Man, what a gig. Does he do anything else?
Still got his name on the show, but he's not even there.
Yeah. If you didn't get enough Hillary during the DNC, she'll be on again with Colbert Late Night TV, along with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who, of course, played the vice president in Veep. And over on Seth Meyers, Jessica Alba will be the guest tonight. So there you go. That's what's on television. We watched the final episode of the new season of Unsolved Mysteries this weekend. It was the Mothman episode. It was kind of cool because it was a update, if you will, because they did an episode about the Mothman back when Robert Stack was hosting the original series. In the
same case, just a different look at it?
Yeah, and, there's obviously been a lot more sightings in the last 40 years, almost 40 years since that episode aired back in the late 80s, early 90s. With it originally, I didn't realize the Mothman sightings went all the way back to the 60s. Like, there was 2 couples that were going over a bridge, I think, on a late-night cruise back in 1967 in West Virginia, and they were the first ones to report seeing the Mothman with the glowing eyes and kind of the black body and whatever and flying around. But there's been sightings now all over the place, including Chicago over by O'Hare. A lot of sightings there. And even up, what was it, the I-94 bridge that collapsed in the cities?
I-35.
I-35 bridge, sorry. And that may just be happenstance, people trying to conjure up some kind of conspiracy there. But yeah, so the final episode was about the Mothman, and it was cool because they had clips from the original show, which was, again, hosted by Robert Stack, and kind of a update on that story. And the one thing about the Mothman that I find interesting is that unlike a lot of other Bigfoot, Yeti, Loch Ness Monster, take your pick, whichever one you want. There's no photos or footage or anything. Like, not a single one. Like, the whole episode, an hour long, and I didn't see, other than these 2 women that drew pictures of the Mothman, what they thought they saw. There was
glowing eyes and the wings, but
UFOs. There's constantly videos of unidentified flying objects. You've got footage of Bigfoot or some guy in a costume walking around. You got Loch Ness, obviously very famous photo of that, but not a single photo out there exists of the Mothman. Not one.
There's a statue of him in West Virginia.
Yeah, I know. But at least not on the episode. Maybe there's some online or something like that. But you'd think that they would dig those up and show them on the episode. But yeah,
40 years later, still unsolved.
Yeah, it's an unsolved mystery, Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
I would give it a thumb up. It's not bad.
Okay,
the series, it's okay. It's not as, again, because of the lack of Robert Stack. Right. It's not as creepy and weird. Plus, because we have the internet now, you can just kind of go online and read all about it and debunk whatever and find out more about these cases and stuff. And I think they're trying more to focus on things that are crimes that haven't been solved as opposed to
mysteries or
mysterious coincidences and, like the supernatural and stuff like that. But yeah, I give it a thumb up. It wasn't too bad. Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. What else going on?
A weekend fire caused widespread damage to a building in Caledonia. The fire broke out at Joe Rudd Trucking on Friday night. It's not yet clear what caused the fire. One person was airlifted to a hospital after suffering burns in what witnesses described as several explosions that preceded the fire. A second business nearby was also damaged. An Arcadia teenager was killed in a crash late last week. The Buffalo County Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a crash Thursday afternoon on Boland Valley Road in the township of Glencoe. Crews arrived to find a 16-year-old from Arcadia dead at the scene. They say the driver entered a ditch and lost control. The vehicle hit a drainage culvert and the wall of a nearby bridge. Police say speed appeared to be a factor. 2 people were arrested in Holman over the weekend after drugs were found during a traffic stop. It was around 9 p.m. Saturday when Holman officers conducted the traffic stop. Police found meth, cocaine, and what is believed to be heroin. They arrested Brian Johnston of La Crosse and Kaylee Berg of Holman. Both were taken to the county jail. Kamala Harris will take a break from the Democratic National Convention to make a campaign stop in Milwaukee. Harris and running mate Tim Walz will hold a rally tomorrow at the Fiserv Forum. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance will also be in Milwaukee tomorrow, or be in Wisconsin tomorrow. He'll hold a rally in Kenosha. Vance was in Wisconsin just last week, visiting with the Milwaukee Police Union on Friday. The latest Marquette University Law School poll shows the presidential race essentially a dead heat in Wisconsin. And traveling north and south is getting a little trickier in La Crosse starting today. George Street is being closed starting today from Palace Street to Cunningham Street. That closure is necessary to replace some sanitary sewer lines. A detour will be posted directing drivers to Highway 53 and Gillette Street. That work is expected to last throughout the week.
Yay.
Yeah, right?
More
orange barrels.
Yay. Yeah, the highway wasn't too bad yesterday.
Coming back from the Brewers game?
Well, once you get past Toma, I believe, they got, or out towards Toma, there's barrels, all the way past.
There was a big, and it looks like it was some kind of a vehicle fire. As we were traveling back from Madison yesterday, late morning, early afternoon, around Boston, there was a backup that looked to last about 12 to 15 miles, maybe. Traffic pretty much at a standstill heading east. So I'm not sure. It looked like there was some kind of a vehicle fire. I don't know more than that, but boy, was that backed up.
Three-way with Shaw in the newsroom. We'll get back to him in just a bit. Got the Monday morning throwback coming up in a few minutes. Right now, it's Sleep Theory.
Rock mornings on 95.7 The Rock.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Foo Fighters these days on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The Brewers scored 2 points yesterday, and the Packers scored 2 points yesterday. Only one of them won, and that would be the Brewers. All right, maybe not points, runs, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Brewers with a nice 2-0 win over the Guardians to complete the series sweep. 5 in a row for the Brew Crew. Off tonight. At St. Louis tomorrow. Packers losing 27-2 in Denver last night. Nobody played other than a bunch of backups, so no big surprise there, but yeah, 2 points. NASCAR suspending their race yesterday after about 50 laps. Looks like they'll pick it up later on this morning. I think 10 o'clock is when that gets underway. Noah Lyles maybe going to race Tyreek Hill. He was on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. Lyles asked about a possible race between himself and wide receiver Tyreek Hill. Tyreek obviously saying that, I think it was a couple weeks ago, it was like right around when the Olympics were on, saying that he could beat Noah Lyles in a race. And Noah Lyles on the podcast yesterday or the other day said, quote, Tyreek is just chasing clout. Anytime somebody fast comes up, he says he wants to race them. If he really wanted to race people, he would have shown up like DK Metcalf. The man raced in the 60-meter this year. In the Masters division, the man dodges smoke. I don't have time for that. If he's truly serious about it, I'm not talking about you just talking on the internet, and you ain't actually coming to me and talking to my agent and saying, let's set something up. If you're seriously about it, you'll see me on the track. Okay. So maybe? I mean, Tyreek said it. Noah Lyle says he's good with it, but you got to make it official if you want to race him. We talking 60? We talking 100? What are we talking here? Also, former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez entering a plea of no contest to felony attempted murder, assault, and multiple weapons charges in a California court on Friday. In exchange for a lighter sentence, he's facing an attempted murder trial for a February 2022 incident when he allegedly shot repeatedly at a man accused of molesting his son, but ended up wounding the man's stepfather instead. Former champion scheduled to begin trial on September 9th. A sentencing hearing scheduled for October 18th, but the actual sentencing is now expected to occur at a later date after Cain Velasquez entered a plea of no contest. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, the Monday Morning Throwback. In just a few minutes, also going to get to some DMX and Five Finger Death Punch.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Maybe this will refresh your memory.
Since 2008, Brian, Gene, and Shaw have been your wake-up specialists.
Like old times, huh?
Now it's time to take a look back.
Go way back.
It's the Monday Morning Throwback. Every Monday morning, Throwback.
Right around 7:40 on Monday mornings, we take a look back at some of the stuff we've done over the years, and this is a tough one, Shaw.
Yeah?
We, of course, lost our Ani last week. She passed away at the age of 82, and I didn't have a lot of time to put a lot of stuff together. I've got so much audio from...
it was very sudden as well.
So many years of working with An. She, of course, was an intricate part of this building, of this company.
Sure enough.
Of our lives, and of the lives of thousands of people throughout the Cooley region. And for those of you that have listened to our show for a long, long time, you probably remember we used to play What Did An Say? Because...
she know good English.
As An would tell you, I'm not very well English. And... she was always, we never did this to poke fun.
Oh, no.
We never did this to, sort of laugh behind her back. That was never the intent. We just loved An. And we wanted to share her with people that didn't get to be a part of her life because they didn't work here, or maybe didn't go to her church, or weren't part of her family, or didn't go to the Y, or whatever.
All the places where she was integral.
And, there were times because of the language barrier, it was tough to understand An. And she was always a very willing participant. She would begrudgingly, I would catch her in the office, and I'd be like, oh, An's here. I got to get her to cut some lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go up there, and she'd like, I don't have my glasses. And I'm like, you don't need your glasses. And so we would spend, An and I would spend, 10 to 15 minutes in a studio recording these lines, and I would have them all typed up.
She'd write them, and she'd read them.
I'd type them up in big, huge print so she could read them clearly. Most of the time, I would say the word that I wanted her to say, and she would repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, this is the part I wanted to share. This is kind of peeling the curtain back a little bit with radio and the things that people don't see. Generally, after we would get done recording what I wanted for the show, for us to play the audio so people could guess what An was trying to say, she and I would be in the studio together, and I would leave the mics on because I wanted to capture our conversations with one another. Because we would always talk about funny stuff, whether it was... what she did that weekend, or sometimes she'd go out and people would recognize her, or, she would talk about her kids a lot, obviously.
Family, of course, yeah.
She'd ask me about my now wife, how's my little lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
And, so this is kind of a mashup, and this isn't everything because we did this for years, and I have so much audio, and it's very hard to kind of pare it all down and put it into, a small space here. But here's a couple of minutes of of On, and I don't know how good the audio is going to sound. I had to crank it up in some spots because a lot of times she would be off the mic, and so I just had the mic on, and I was just capturing sound from like, this is me now 3 feet away from the microphone.
Right.
So you can tell there's a huge difference in the quality. But again, this is a couple of minutes of On and I just kind of rapping after we would record for the game that we played back in the day called What Did On Say?
Hi, my favorite people. Hello. Huh, I'm too hungry. Hallelujah. I'm so tired. I don't even see what one no more.
You did good.
Thank you.
The last one.
Tell them I love them, but I don't want to read. Hard.
It's not hard. You did good on it.
I have to go in school.
No.
T goes school.
T goes to school. You don't need to. You just come here and I'll make you read these words and you do good.
You're teaching me every day.
I'm trying to. You got your glasses today.
But so hard.
I know. Well, it's difficult. These are long words. They're
Long. But the people crazy.
They love it. They love you, On. They love you. They can't get enough of you. Did you know that?
I know. I go everywhere. Even go sell a ticket. I'm so busy. Oh, so nice we see you.
Yeah. They see you for the first time. They like seeing you. They love you, On.
No, thank you.
That's it.
Oh, God.
You're okay.
No.
Yes.
So hard.
It's not hard. You did real good.
No.
So tell me how you got bruised.
Oh, well, if I bang some door there and they just little like that, tomorrow you keep see bigger. They keep
So
coming.
it starts out little like that, and it gets bigger like that.
Bigger.
That looks like someone dropped you on your arm.
No, and they will go away soon. Yeah. But, I asked son, I say, why I get bruised so easy? But my son want me to take aspirin every day.
Aspirin, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about iron? Do you have enough iron in your blood or anything? I mean, did they run any tests?
Oh, yeah, they do. But just look like he said, I take aspirin, that's why my blood getting thinner. And I get bruised very easy.
Right.
Oh, my God. If somebody kick me, tomorrow you will see.
Yeah.
Bad.
You did good.
Thank you.
Not bad, huh?
No, but I'm nervous.
You're not nervous. Come on. You did a good job.
There she is. That laugh.
Yep.
Always quick with a laugh. Always had a story about something. Very proud of her kids and her grandkids.
Rightfully so.
And, they're very successful people, very driven, very talented. And it was tough, man, going through all that this morning. And
it was quite a loss.
Listening to, I've got so much audio from those years, and I saved it all, not because I was worried about the end coming or anything. It just was,
You just enjoyed it.
Yeah, and
and she wouldn't read any swear words that you might have written for her. Is that correct?
Right, and so what I would have to do if I wanted to I'd have to find a word, like if I wanted her to pretend to say the F word, I'd have to put truck. And then I'd bleep it. And she knew, though. She's like, okay, you're trying to make me sound like I'm saying bad words. And I said, no, I'm not. And I would, of course, big grin on my face. And of course, people would tell her all the time, too, that she'd go out, to places and people would say, oh, Ann, I heard you swearing on the radio. And she, what? Here's another clip. This is one of my favorites. Ann had locked her keys in her car in the truck. She came here with like some casseroles or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was parked out on State Street. Okay. And she had locked her keys in the car, and they were trying to get it unlocked. And of course, everybody knows I'm the criminal.
If anybody could do something, to break in, it would be you.
So they asked me, and I asked Ann how she had locked her keys in her car.
Oh, thank you. Now I forgot. One guy no have lunch.
Yeah, but what happened with your truck? You didn't even tell me.
Okay, I take a lot of that side out. And that side I have too big. And I thought I unlocked them. But I don't unlock them. I lock them.
So you thought you unlocked them, but you actually locked them.
Locked them. I know.
And you left your keys in there, too.
I know. Key, like everything. Thank you so much.
You're very
How you get them out?
I just took a coat hanger. Rob was trying to use a coat hanger.
Uh-huh.
He's bad at it. I've broken into cars before.
Oh, my God. You scare me.
I love Leon.
You know, the one thing about having a conversation with Ann, you always felt better afterward.
Oh.
No matter what the conversation was about, didn't matter. She just made you feel good about yourself. And ask about your family, always asking about the family.
Yeah.
Hi, Adam.
Love her.
Yeah.
Miss
one
her.
of a kind. Absolutely.
And on passing away last week, there will be a visitation, I believe, on Friday from 4 until 7 at Schumacher Kish.
Yeah. And the funeral on Saturday.
And then the funeral on Saturday. The family is asking, in lieu of flowers, they request that donations on behalf of Anfam be made to the Cathedral of St. Joseph the Workman, where she spent a lot of her time.
She sure did. Every day.
Every single day. Every day. And she would always... She'd go, we do all these things that require us to print T-shirts, whether it's a golf outing or a motorcycle ride or whatever. And she would always go down and try to, she'd be like...
Snag some of the extras?
Yeah, well, wanted to give them to the homeless people, She's like, I got to take these to the shelter and give them to the homeless people. And we're, how do you say no to Ann?
Right, you don't.
So, yeah, just awful loss, tragic loss. And our thoughts and obviously, condolences to the family. And the one thing I don't know, we played the game. People met on that way. It was funny. We had some fun with it. She went out and, people would recognize her.
She was a celebrity.
She became a celebrity. And but I don't think people truly know Ann's story. We've told it a few times in the past.
Well, she came here in the early 70s from Vietnam without speaking the language.
Well, no family here. Nope. No money, no job, no nothing, just her and her husband, and built an incredible life for themselves. And if you know the success that their kids have had in life because of how hardworking and focused they are, and what a great job Ann and T did as parents, it speaks volumes. And then you think about the impact she had on her family back in Vietnam afterwards, and just and then all that time in the church and all the things she did to try to, better the world. It's just speaks volumes about who she is and was as
always
a person.
with a smile on her face, too.
Yeah,
always.
I don't ever remember seeing her upset or angry. Not saying that she didn't, but just always a smile on her face and always happy. And so there you go. Our Monday morning throwback. Just a small little bit. I'm going to try to put something together for later this week. Hopefully, a little more fun, a little less sad. But, we love you and miss you on. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Shaw.
Yep.
Appreciate it. We'll get back to Scott Robert Shaw in just a bit. By the way, if you missed that or if you want to hear it, it's on our website. You can go check it out. What did Ann say? One of our favorite games of the past.
Rock mornings on your rock station.
What did Ann say? What did Ann say?
How you know I make you reading?
Oh, Christ. I miss her a lot. A lot. It's tough. Ugh. Text from Styles said, thank you for that. It was almost like she was right here. Missing her. Miss you too. Hope you're doing well otherwise. Thank you, Styles. Got a text from Michelle. Said, thank you, Brian. It was wonderful hearing Ann's voice again and her laugh. She was one of a kind. They definitely broke the mold when they made her. Going to miss her. Yeah, same. Jake sent me a message on Facebook. Said, that was awesome. Thank you, Jake. Ugh. I don't know what the hell is going on with 2024, but it's got a hair across its ass. Ugh. Sorry. It's just a lot. But try to remain positive and remember the good times when we had a lot. And another thing, not that it surprises anybody, but when you're talking about whenever we needed help with something, an event we were doing, whether it was the .01K or big bikes or anything, it didn't even need to be for charity. Just, she was always willing to step up and help. Inspirational. One of a kind. Thank you for the correspondence. Appreciate it. We'll get back to the music in a bit. Also, some news from Scott Robert Shaw. We'll get to the friggin' sports. And, of course, bad news with happy music is coming up.
More of your rock mornings coming up in just a bit.
Cage the Elephant, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. On Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, she is out today, so it's just me and Shaw and you hanging out. Matthew Perry would have been 55 today. Born on this day in 1969. He, of course, played Chandler on Friends. He was in a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but died just a year ago, 2023. Matthew Perry would have been 55 today. Also born on this day, way back in 1921, the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. Lived till 1991, but born on this day in 1921, Gene Roddenberry.
Space.
The Final Frontier. Turning 61 years young today, Uncle Jesse from Full House and Fuller House, John Stamos.
Have mercy.
Have mercy. 61 today, John Stamos. John Deacon, bass player for Queen, 73. Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. I may drive, I think it's just outside the cities. I may drive up there to watch Shaun of the Dead for the 20th anniversary re-release. I don't think it's playing anywhere around here. I think the closest to us is up by the cities. But even though I prefer Hot Fuzz to Shaun of the Dead, it might be worth it just for that bar scene. Just for that bar scene. Former President Bill Clinton, 78 today.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
Never really thought of it. What is the meaning of the word is? Ian Gillan, 79, lead singer for Deep Purple. Also played Jesus in the original cast recording of Jesus Christ Superstar. Ginger Baker, drummer for Cream. There we go. I got it. Born on this day in 1939. He died in 2019. And also born on this day, back in 1942, Fred Dalton Thompson. Died in 2015. He was a senator. Then he turned actor. You probably know him best as the guy running the airport in Die Hard 2.
Attention all controllers, attention. We have a code red alert. Everyone already on approach or inside our pattern, holes at the outer markers. Stack them, pack them, and rack them.
Also Hunt for Red October. He was on Law and Order, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, Fred Thompson, former senator turned actor. Usually it's the other way around, right? Actor then become politician. 1909, 115 years ago, on August 19th, they had the first race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where they do the Indy 500, 109 years ago today. 73, 51 years ago, Enter the Dragon, released in theaters. Unfortunately, of course, Bruce Lee had died 3 weeks before the movie's premiere.
Oh, don't hit back.
That movie's so badass. I think I'm going to go home and watch it today. Enter the Dragon. In theaters on this day in 1988, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Freddy. Not the best one, but it was all right. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, in theaters on this day. In 1988, 1994, David Alan Grier, Damon Wayans, Jason Alexander. Yeah. George Costanza from Seinfeld, down in the basement. Blank Man, in theaters.
I'm a crime fighter.
Hilarious. Was that Robin Givens, right? Blank Man, in theaters on this day in 94. And in 2005, The 40-Year-Old Virgin made its way into theaters on this day.
The door's always open, so to speak. Great. Thank you. I'm very discreet. But I'll haunt your dreams.
Steve Carell and Seth Rogen and Jane Lynch and, yeah, 40-Year-Old Virgin in theaters on this day in 2005. There you go. Some stuff that happened on August 19th and some birthdays. We'll get to Shaw and Nirvana in just a few.
Rock Mornings. On air, online, on the app.
I'm Victoria Cash. Thanks for calling the Lucky Land Hotline. If you feel like you do the same thing every day, press 1. If you're ready to have some serious fun for the chance to redeem some serious prizes, press 2. We heard you loud and clear. So go to LuckyLandSlots.com right now and play over 100 social casino-style games for free. Get lucky today at LuckyLandSlots.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Shaw. Gene out today. Just me and you, buddy.
We got it.
Got a text from Brenda. Said, sorry for your loss. Ann sounds like she was an amazing lady. She is probably smiling right now knowing you're sharing the stuff you recorded of her. Also got a text from someone, Jim, who said, I don't know how to spell her name. Is there a way to start an on charity thing? I would totally donate. And I sent him a link to her obituary, and I said she loved her church, and the family asked that in lieu of flowers, and if you want to make a donation, you can. Mm-hmm. And there was more info there, and he said, I appreciate that. I will donate. So, yeah, thank you very much.
That's nice.
Reaching out. Appreciate that. Again, hopefully later this week I'll be able to. I got a lot to go through.
Yeah,
a lot of audio. So.
How long did we work with on? 30 years?
Long time.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, she was here the whole time.
I think
you've
she
been
was here when I got here, as I recall, and that would make it 35 plus years.
And I've been here since 2003, so yeah, 20 plus years of.
She and I shared a birthday, as a matter of fact.
That's true, in just a couple weeks, right?
Coming up.
All right. Shaw in the newsroom for another three-way this morning. What do we got?
The Democratic National Convention begins today in Chicago with roughly 50,000 people expected to arrive in the Windy City. That includes thousands of anti-war activists who plan to demonstrate near the United Center, where Vice President Kamala Harris will officially accept the party's nomination for president. While Kamala Harris has galvanized the party as she gears up to accept the nomination, activists say their plans to demonstrate have not changed. They're ready to amplify their progressive message before the nation's top Democratic leaders. Their issues cover climate change, abortion rights, and racial equality, to name a few. But many activists agree that an immediate ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war is the overarching message of the demonstrations. They've likened it to the Vietnam War of their generation. The political spotlight this week is on Chicago, where Democrats have their convention to nominate Kamala Harris for president. But the presidential campaigns will spend some time north of the Illinois border as well. Both the Harris and Trump teams have planned visits to the Milwaukee area on the same day. Vice President Harris and running mate Tim Walz are expected to hold a rally tomorrow in Milwaukee, where the Republicans held their convention last month. The GOP candidate for vice president, J.D. Vance, has an event planned in Kenosha tomorrow. Senate nominee Eric Hovde is among the other Republicans scheduled to be there. Better check your freezer. Purdue Foods is recalling more than 167,000 pounds of frozen chicken nuggets and tenders after some customers reported finding metal wire embedded in the products. According to Purdue and the USDA, the recall covers select lots of three products: Purdue breaded chicken tenders, Butcher Box organic chicken breast nuggets, and Purdue Simply Smart Organics breaded chicken breast nuggets. So far, there have been no confirmed injuries or adverse reactions tied to those eating the products. Consumers who have the recalled chicken are urged to throw it away or return it to its place of purchase. Purdue is offering full refunds. The brown fedora worn by Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom has sold at auction for $630,000. The fedora came from the personal collection of late stunt performer Dean Ferrandini, who also wore it while standing in for Ford. Meanwhile, an Imperial Scout Trooper helmet from Return of the Jedi sold for $315,000, and a ghost costume worn in the movie Scream sold for just under $271,000. No starters.
See that Babe Ruth jersey?
No, what'd that go for?
They're saying it could go over $30 million.
Oof.
Yeah, that's a lot of coin right there.
Yeah. And no starters on the field yesterday for the Green Bay Packers in their 27-2 preseason loss at the Broncos. But rookie quarterback Bo Nix of Denver played two possessions and scored on both. The Green Bay back in action on Saturday when they host Baltimore starting at noon.
Final game of the preseason.
Yep.
And then open up on the road in Brazil. That's a Friday night game, right?
I've got to check that because I don't know what the time difference is between here and Brazil.
Yeah, because I think the 5th, which is a Thursday, is the season opener. And then the 6th, which is, I believe, the Packers in Brazil against the Eagles. Is that correct?
I think, yeah. I'm going to try and look it up here quick.
I'm looking at my calendar, and I'm going to the NFL schedule here. Let's see. Week 1. Yeah, so Thursday, September 5th, will be Baltimore at Kansas City. That's on NBC. Mm-hmm. And then the following night, it'll be on Peacock, and that's Packers at Philly. I thought that was a Packer home game.
7:15 start our Central Time. So
yeah. So, all right. Opening up on the road in Brazil. Interesting. The Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo. Thank you, Sean. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that. We'll get to the friggin' sports in just a couple of minutes, but first, Nirvana.
Rock Mornings with Brian, Gene, and Shaw.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Nirvana, smelling like teen spirits. The friggin' sports. Brought to you by New Jobs. Sort of. Is it a job if you're not getting paid? It's more of like a volunteer situation, right? Connor Stallions, the analyst who was allegedly the mastermind behind Michigan's sign-stealing operation that led to former head coach Jim Harbaugh's 3-game suspension during the Wolverines' national championship season last year, is now back in coaching. Sort of. Mumford High School coach William McMichael confirmed that he has hired Stallions as his defensive coordinator at the Detroit school. McMichael said Stallions is working as a volunteer, so he's not getting paid. Stallions also, by the way, set to share his side of the story on the 4th season of Untold, which will include an episode titled Sign Stealer. I think that comes out on the 27th, so that's a week from tomorrow. In the episode Sign Stealer, in the 4th season of Untold, Connor Stallions breaks his silence on the scandal that shook college football. But yeah, not only is he going to be on that Untold Season 4 episode, talking about what happened and what went down, but now he's got himself a new gig, volunteering as the defensive coordinator for Mumford High School in Detroit. Rehab the image a little bit, maybe try to get a paying position. We'll see. Coach there says the kids love him. Doing what's asked of them. I don't know. Do they steal signs in high school, college football, or high school football? Probably. If they got Connor Stallions on the sideline. Hailstorm, along with I Prevail in just a bit, plus bad news, happy music. Stick around.
Rock Mornings, only on 95.7 The Rock.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Monday edition after some great white for Doug, who wanted to hear that on
Good choice.
Friday after Jack Russell passed away. I didn't have time to get to it. We had a lot of stuff going on, but that's for you, Dougie. Bad news. What do we got?
Well, if kids could vote, their biggest cause could be jobs, because neighborhood lemonade stands are being overtaken by adults. There's a new report in the Washington Post about how adults are creating lemonade stands to run as side hustles, oftentimes to pay off their student loan debt. It's funny to imagine 20 or 30-somethings taking a break from work and hawking lemonade to compete with the 8-year-old down the street, but that's not quite what's happening. These lemonade stands are more like food trucks, where business owners are investing in equipment and menus that involve multiple different flavors, syrups, and styles of lemonade. One of the lemonade stands charges $8 a drink.
So if you know me, you know I just be doing random stuff and my life literally changes as the wind blows, but it's always for the betterment of myself. So I decided to start this lemonade business. I literally saw a girl on here start a lemonade business and like pay for her entire pharmacy school. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to start a lemonade stand to pay off some debt and just kind of like get things together because I think I want to go to law school.
Maybe also take a class on how not to create more debt.
There you go. There's a thought.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe be a little more thrifty.
Going to school stuff's expensive.
Oh, hey, I get it.
You probably do this all the time and nothing happens, but you might not want to start a load of dishes before bed. It could burn your house down.
Oh, no.
A woman in Kansas started her dishwasher before jumping into bed, and less than an hour later, she woke up to smoke alarms going off. Her husband ran downstairs to find a huge fire in their kitchen. Turned out the dishwasher had malfunctioned, and that's what sparked it. Luckily, they got their 2 kids out, and everyone's okay, and firefighters saved the house, but there's so much soot damage, they won't be able to move back in for at least 6 months. She posted a video of the damage, telling people to think twice before running any major appliances at night, or at least make sure that your smoke detectors are working.
It would be nice if you said thank you and helped me with the dishes.
Fine. I'll help you do the dishes.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Good point.
Because I have a dishwasher that runs at night.
That's true.
We run ours at night all the time. You don't even have a dishwasher.
We do have a dishwasher. Yes.
Do you run yours at night?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So far, no problems.
I don't know, dude. Anything that's plugged into the wall could start on fire at any time of the day.
The dishwasher is any more likely than anything else.
I get it. Right. But like, come on, man. That could be anything.
That's true.
My fridge could blow up. What am I gonna only plug the fridge in during the day when I'm at home watching it? I gotta stand there and watch it while it's plugged in?
Probably not.
Get lucky. I gotta go back to ice. Right, I got to go buy a big giant block of ice from the guy in the truck coming down the street.
Keep your food cold,
and stick it in one of those old timey coolers.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, lady.
Hurricane Debbie left behind not only a trail of deadly destruction in the southeast, but also more than 100 pounds of narcotics discovered along Florida's shores. 25 packages of cocaine were found on a beach in a village near in the Florida Keys. A Good Samaritan alerted police after coming across the packages, which weighed about 70 pounds and contained cocaine with an estimated street value of more than $1 million.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
A week later, the sheriff's office said another batch of cocaine, more than $500,000 worth, was found floating near Everglades City in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, snap.
The barnacles covering the package suggested it had been in the water for some time. They say the cocaine most likely washed in with the tides from the East Coast due to the recent storms.
That's something I wouldn't keep for myself.
No.
Like if a bunch of cash in a duffel bag washed up,
okay,
probably going to keep that.
You're the only one who's going to know.
But a big bunch of drugs?
Yeah. Call the police.
I'm definitely calling somebody. Did you see the woman who got the World War II, the message in a bottle?
No.
Yeah, this was after Hurricane Debbie went through, and a woman was picking garbage up and all this stuff in her yard, and found a bottle, and there was a message in it, and opened it up, and it was from like somebody in World War II.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Pretty neat.
A fight broke out over the weekend between a group of people who were making a late-night visit to a friend's gravesite in Colorado. One man was fatally shot, and a woman was injured. What? The suspect was later found on the cemetery grounds, along with his weapon. They booked 22-year-old Ryan Trujillo Falcon on murder and assault charges.
So was it 2 separate sets of friends that were going to the same gravesite?
No, they were all together, apparently mourning the loss of a friend, when for some reason a fight broke out. Police initially were called to the cemetery where an unidentified man and woman victims were taken to a hospital. The man was pronounced dead there. The female treated for injuries and released. They say the 3 people knew each other and were visiting the gravesite of one of their friends. Now, there were no details about what led to the altercation, how many people were visiting, or how the group gained access to the cemetery. That cemetery closes at 5 p.m. every day.
It seems early.
5? Yeah, I think so too. But
maybe somebody admitted that they had slept with the dead person, and
I can't imagine what
their ex
led
was
to
there
that.
or something like that.
Strange place for shooting.
Yeah.
A Virginia man is facing federal charges after allegedly stealing a Yellowstone National Park vehicle while drunk and taking it on a joyride. Alan Bowling in Virginia tried to buy beer at the Old Faithful Upper General Store Saturday afternoon, but his credit cards were declined. So he left the store and climbed into a Yellowstone Park Service Station heavy wrecker. The wrecker was seen near the Old Faithful Lodge before going the wrong way on a one-way road, driving off the road and then coming to rest near the post office and ranger station.
I think he's had enough.
He took off running, but eventually stopped when he was detained at gunpoint. When asked to identify himself, Bowling said, "I'm Nathan Peterson, undisclosed United States Marshal." He said to the Rangers, "I needed the truck to get to the United States Marshal's headquarters." They say this guy smelled strongly of alcohol and was taken to jail.
Man.
He's facing 9 charges.
Thought this was America. That's my vehicle. My tax dollars are paying for it.
I'm an undisclosed United States
What does that
Marshal.
even mean?
I don't know.
Disclosed. It hasn't been disclosed that I'm a federal agent?
Nobody else knows but me.
All right, it's very secretive.
A former employee of a school district in Illinois has pleaded guilty to stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings from the district's food
This
service.
is the person we were talking about last week. I think it's Chris Jones of the Chiefs wants to pay the $1.5 million the fee.
She's now pleaded guilty. That happened on Friday and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. She was a food service director for a school near Chicago for more than a decade. The crimes took place during COVID when students were not allowed to be physically present at school. That's when the district continued to provide meals for students that their parents could pick up. Records show Liddell ordered more than 11,000 cases of chicken wings from the school district's food service provider.
Is that how does that relate to the normal amount of ordering?
Well, they normally order 0 chicken wings. And that's part of how they caught
got caught. You can't order items that aren't on the menu. That's how you get busted. They know.
They say they don't serve chicken wings because they have bones, so that's never on the menu. It's not clear what the woman did with $1.5 million worth of
tried
chicken
to
wings.
resell them to her friends, right?
Maybe.
Like, hey, I got this deal on chicken wings, and I'll sweeten the pot by adding some barbecue sauce on the side for you.
Yeah. I mean, it was going to be pure profit on her part.
What are you doing ordering? So you got to order the flatbread pizza or whatever it is.
Get the nugs.
Yeah, just a little at a time, and then they won't catch you for decades.
A man who was convicted of pointing a gun at a Burger King drive-thru worker because they wouldn't accept drugs for payment has been sentenced to 143 years in prison. He was found guilty of 17 crimes overall, including 8 counts of attempted murder.
So he said, hey, can I get a Whopper Jr.
And I'll
exchange,
pay you with this powder here?
in exchange for some crack cocaine? Or do we know what kind of drugs it was?
I don't know what kind of drugs, but that was not a form of payment that they accepted. A woman in Montana who was a passenger on a small commercial airplane admitted to interfering with a flight by lunging at the controls as the plane was landing, causing it to accelerate and turn on the runway. Tracy Lynn Eagleman has pleaded guilty to interfering with an aircraft in flight and faces up to 20 years in prison. They say she was a passenger on the small plane that departed from Billings, Montana. On the final approach, about 10 miles away, she stood up and started yelling about the landing. The flight crew were able to calm the woman down and get her back into her seat. However, just as the plane touched down, she lunged forward from her seat and hit the flight controls. Yikes. She hit the throttle for one of the 2 engines, causing it to accelerate and prompting the plane to turn on the runway. Luckily, the flight crew regained control of the plane, stopped on the tarmac, and eventually taxied safely to the terminal.
Wow, that's crazy.
Couple in Georgia is suing a healthcare system after they say staff at one of its hospitals in Atlanta misplaced a portion of the husband's skull.
I saw the picture of this guy. He's just laying in the bed with like a big divot in his head.
Yeah. The portion of the skull had been temporarily removed for a surgery and was later scheduled to be reimplanted. Fernando Cluster was admitted to Emory University Hospital and diagnosed with a brain bleed. They performed surgery to reduce the pressure on the brain, and as part of that, they had to remove a portion of his skull. He was being prepped for the cranioplasty, as the procedure is known, and that's when the hospital staff could not find the bone flap that belonged to Cluster. When they say he went to retrieve the bone flap, there were several that were incomplete or had missing identification, and they couldn't be certain which belonged to him. He and his wife are suing the hospital and staff for negligence.
Big time.
Staff ultimately told him that his bone flap could not be found and that surgery would be needed until would have to be canceled until a synthetic implant flap could be made. He underwent surgery to have that synthetic bone flap implanted and was charged for its cost and the extra time he had to stay in the hospital.
No.
His medical expenses totaled more than $146,000. They say he suffered permanent injuries and has not been able to work as a result of the hospital's negligence.
They got various contradictory messages about why surgery was postponed, and ultimately Emory told them that they had lost and misplaced a part of his skull. It's mind-blowing, literally.
Literally, yeah, that's true. And as bad as that doctor is, this one's worse. A Florida doctor is facing disciplinary action after they say his failure to wear hearing aids during a colonoscopy left a patient screaming in pain. According to the complaint, the gastroenterologist, Dr. Ishwari Prasad, was placed on probation by the state's Board of Medicine after 2 colonoscopy procedures went wrong under his care. In one instance, Prasad improperly delegated tasks to a surgical tech who did not have a medical license. This man is hearing impaired and uses hearing aids to allow him to hear and communicate during operations. However, he was not wearing the hearing aids for at least one, if not both, of the procedures in the complaint, rendering the surgical team unable to effectively communicate with him. The second colonoscopy performed by this doctor that day was a patient who is not yet fully sedated. During the procedure, Prasad began inserting the scope prematurely, causing the patient to begin yelling. But the doctor did not immediately stop the procedure when it was apparent the patient was not fully sedated because he could not hear the patient yelling.
Boy, that guy's really deaf.
Right? The doctor
You're right there in the room and they're yelling at you and you can't hear them.
The doctor continued to insert the scope despite being told to wait and began to thrust the scope into the patient's rectum while the patient shouted in pain.
Damn near killed him.
He began to yell and shouted he could feel everything, but the doctor continued to move the scope even as the patient continued to scream.
Rectum damn near killed him.
Doctor's now been placed on probation as a result of these complaints.
Maybe time to hang it up.
Yeah,
buddy.
I think so, Doc.
How old is this guy?
I don't know how old he is, but obviously he has hearing issues.
Is there another profession you can do that doesn't involve the need for the hearing aid?
How about janitor?
Like a foot thing, maybe? Like examining the foot? I don't know, dude.
Poor guy.
Oof.
The patient, I mean.
Yeah. 2 of them, you said.
Mm-hmm. Happened twice.
Wow, that really puts punctuation
sure
mark
does.
on the
Welcome
end
to Monday.
On the end of the morning. Thank you so much, I think. Bad news, happy music. We'll talk to Shaw again tomorrow. Dean should be back. Right now it's Saliva.
Rock mornings, Monday to Friday, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us.
Check.
We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Rockmornings.com is the website. Check us out there. All of our contact info. Text earlier from Corbin. Shaw was talking about spending the weekend in Madison with his kids and having some pizza and going to a piano bar. And Corbin said, did he share the pizza with his wife? No, I think they had their own slices of pizza. Ogre, with a very strange text earlier this morning. I was talking about the delicious mac and cheese that I was enjoying at the Brewer game yesterday. And I had to limit myself because it was so good I wanted to eat all of it. And Ogre said, I could see if you went back up there standing in line, shoveling it into your mouth hole with a serving spoon. LOL. Ogre, you got some problems, bud. You might want to talk to someone about that. Trying to figure out, I was having trouble remembering the name of the store where you could get a potato clock back in the day, and T-Stet said it was Brookstone. Correct. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also got a text from Jim. Said, I don't know how to spell her name, but is there a way to start a charity thing for Ann? I would totally donate. I sent him a link to her obituary. There is a suggestion there to make a donation to her church in lieu of flowers. I know that her family and Ann would appreciate that. Brenda texted in, said, sorry for your loss. Sounds like an amazing lady. She's probably smiling knowing that you're sharing the stuff you recorded of her. Thank you, Brenda. Paul, reminding us that the Packer season opener in Brazil is a Friday game. Thank you. Also, we were talking about the doctor just a few minutes ago with the hearing aids down in Florida that was performing a colonoscopy without his hearing aids in and couldn't hear the patient screaming in pain. Eric said, when I had my LASIK, the doctor didn't let the numbing agent take effect. I felt them cut my eye open. I couldn't move, so I had to sit still while I felt everything. No. That's a no. That's a no. No. Also got a message from Kevin. Said, just tuned in this morning. Caught your news item about On. What a bummer. T and On were our next door neighbors until they moved to the care center. So thankful that we bought the house next to them, became extremely close friends. You could always tell when she was making egg rolls, and she never failed to share some with us. Lucky you. We got them on occasion here. Yeah. It was always a good day when On would bring in egg rolls. Conversations across the fence, always a delight. She never failed to say, you work too hard. What a wonderful lady. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. She was. Appreciate all the kind texts and emails about On. It's very nice of you. And thank you for the rest of the correspondence. We'll get to some Offspring in just a couple minutes.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.